Hi there, welcome. This is Diane, one of 5 awesome optimists. Wow, what a week it has been. I can't believe how much has happened since last we shared this time together. And thank you so much for joining me today. What a privilege it is to share this special time with you. In the last week, so much has happened. I don't even know where to begin. But let me just recap a couple of little things. I went to Arizona for my grandmother's 90th birthday, and only to find out that it wasn't her 90th birthday, it was her 89th birthday. And I said, what? She's only 89? Well, what are we going to do to top this? It was a big, huge surprise party, and I was talking with somebody, and I said, I think there were 100 people there, all her family. And then someone said, well, ask Grandpa. When he gets home, he'll figure out exactly who was there and who wasn't. And then I saw my grandpa yesterday, and sure enough, he figured out how many were not there and how many were there. There were exactly 100 people there, and there were 77 people who were not there. And so for the other 77 of my family, we missed you. And anyway, it was just amazing. But the house was just completely packed. There were so many kids going around. There was so much food, so much family, so much laughing. It was crazy. And my grandma looks the same as she always has. She's just such a cutie. If you haven't connected with me on Facebook, if we have some of those pictures, I'll try to post a few of them. I also got to visit one of my dearest childhood friends. And Lori, it was so nice to see you. She's known me since I was born, I guess. And we lived in a neighborhood where she was one house away. And we just have so many memories. And isn't it awesome to just be able to just sort of pick up right where you left off? And how interesting it is how little parts of our brain, that it's like you're carrying a string and then you drop it. And then you just go and you pick it back up again, and off it goes. And it feels like no time was, spent between you. But anyway, it was amazing. She's a firefighter now, and she was sustaining an injury on her wrist that she told me what happened. But wow, wow, what a journey it has been for all of us. And then I saw the Olympics closing ceremony, and wow. Wow. Just to consider all of what what has taken place in the world, in the arena of athletics and excellence and victory and defeat, and what a perfect example of optimism that whole thing is. Who would go there without thinking and hoping that they would be able to win and have victory? I was especially grateful for the eloquent speech. I don't know who it was, if it was the Canada host or the Olympics person, but he praised the athletes for playing clean, and he welcomed them, and he said some things about how great it was to be good role models, to show what it looks like to follow your dreams. And that made me think about something else about following your dreams, because Lisa Murray, one of our former 5 awesome optimists, and she'll always be an optimist to me, she has a whole thing about following your dreams, and she actually left the 5 awesome optimists to pursue one of her dreams. And the time was right for her. But maybe it's not right for you. And you hear a lot about, especially if you're on Twitter or different places where people say, follow your passion, go for your dreams. And maybe you are in a situation where you have these dreams and you can feel them so deeply within inside you. And I actually call them these divine rumblings from within, because they won't be silenced. They won't be silenced until you deal with them. And there's so much that we have inside of us that until you go inside and see what's there, good and bad, it's hard to move forward. I also heard a really great metaphor for progressing in life. And it was, imagine if you will, an escalator. Those are those moving stairs that go up. and also the ones that go down. And if you've ever tried as a kid to run up the down escalator, I tried that too. And so that's really what progressing in life is like. What a great metaphor and what a great image, where you need to run almost just to stay in the same place. That if you don't do anything towards what you want to have happen, you'll actually be, guided backwards. So, just to stay where you are, you just need to keep a steady pace, but to move forward, you got to accelerate things. And if you are in a situation where you are doing the sweetest work of all, which is prepare the next generation for being our leaders and being good, wonderful citizens, aka, also known as your mother work, your father work. I was so pleased to see Mr. Nice Guy with his family, and also see people and honoring what it's like to have a family and to be a mom or to be a dad. And it's so crazy how in today's world, like, people think that that's not a good thing to have a good home and to honor your family. But I just witnessed how wonderful it is to have a wonderful family. And so I want to share a little something with you if you are in a situation where you don't feel like you're living your dream. I picked this up and I was reading this. I'm almost done. It's called 9 Things You Simply Must Do to Succeed in Love and Life by Dr. Henry Cloud. And I loved one of his other books that I read, and so I saw this in Borders and I said, oh, I want to read that on the way home. And it's talking about your dreams and how sometimes somebody may kind of squash your dream. And he gives this little distinction: burying your dreams versus suspending your dreams. Now listen to what an awesome way this is to think about suspending. He says, quote, "I think it is important to point out the difference between burying your dreams and simply suspending them. To bury your dreams means to be unaware of them or to be in some sort of conflict with them. When you bury them, they get stagnant, sick, and begin to die. That is not healthy. On the other hand, knowing your soul does not mean you have to realize or accomplish every dream at once. I know a woman who is raising her 3 children and truly wants to go to law school. One day she will. She has not buried that dream in any way, shape, or form. In fact, she is looking forward to it, but not today. She has suspended that dream, holding it in the palm of love and sacrifice. She's holding it in her heart along with her other heart's desire, the health and the welfare of her children." A little bit forward, she puts both desires in perspective with her values and what she knows her children need from her. That is not burying anything. It is holding her desire for a law career on the altar of sacrificial love, which is the highest form of heart and soul that we know in this life. It is the ability to lay down one's life for those he or she loves. Isn't that awesome? That also reminded me of that scene in It's a Wonderful Life, where the guy played by Jimmy Stewart, I can't forget, George, the main character, I can't think of his name right now, but his dream is to get out of where he lives, and he wants to go and live this other life. But as he's pursuing that, he has other needs, and realizes sort of at the end of the movie how wonderful his life was, even though he never got to actually do what he wanted to. So if you're in a position where you don't feel like, wow, I can't pursue my dream, maybe my life is a failure, but you're doing other things that are worthwhile, release yourself from that sort of pain and agony, and realize that you're making actually a sweeter choice by giving yourself to things that will ultimately, and in a bigger picture, matter much more than you having, and not that it's a selfish thing to have a dream. I think it's a great thing to have a dream, but don't beat yourself up if you don't have it. So also in the wake of So much tragedy in the world that I have witnessed firsthand with members of my own family, and sickness, and just everything that this life brings, and what's gone on in Chile, and what's going on in Haiti, and how our hearts just are so full for our fellow human beings. And may I just send out a special, a special little piece of my heart to give comfort to anybody and everybody who is within the sound of my voice, that you might need a little ray of sunshine today. Let me share with you something that brought me a little sunshine. In this last period of just several days as I was away, we had a lot of rain here in California and a lot of sunshine. And when I came back, my whole front yard, this big huge long driveway, and there's a whole, I don't know what it is, an acre or a half an acre, I don't know how much it is, but it was full of these, just totally full. They're higher than me now in a week. When I left, it was just like a little bit of green, and I could see little bunnies, hopping in and out of it when I drive in. But when I came back, it's up so high just in several days. And how fun that was to drive in and see the whole thing covered with, I think they're like mustard, mustard flowers. So let me send some of that sunshine to you wherever you are, and take a little bit of, take a little bit of my sunshine and let it lift up your heart just a little bit. And for the suffering that you feel, if you do feel any, maybe just for a quick second, you breathe in and realize, all the suffering that we feel is just temporary. And all the suffering that I have felt, as deep as I have felt it, has only brought me something greater, which is greater compassion for others. So that is my message. And I love all the things that I experienced. And, if you think about that song, in a New York minute, everything can change. In an Olympic millisecond, everything can change. While some people's dreams were completely realized, others were dashed. But that doesn't mean that we're going to give up hope, or that they're going to give up hope. And just keep going. Just keep on going. Let's make it through another week, and I will see you next Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Diane, 1-5 Awesome Optimist.